Hi, this is Jeff Davis again with the Jeff Davis Show in Dallas, Texas, Preparedness Expo. This time we're interviewing Terry Reed. Terry, appreciate your taking the time here. Can I show a couple of your little books here?
Sure, me.
He is the author of the book Compromised, Bush, Clinton, and the CIA. And he's also got some videos out, the MENA Connection, which I'm absolutely positive is at least parts of the Plato Watch program before. And also Vanishing Jobs. I'm going to kind of interview a little, just start initially, Terry. First off, you're a prior CIA operative, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. When did you first start gathering information on the CIA and drug money?
Well, actually, as I lived it, this wasn't a situation of investigating something from the outside, but actually being involved in a covert operation that included a drug pipeline, and discovering it, and then wrestling with what to do about it, and ultimately reporting it to my superior officers, and then realizing that they didn't want to hear this, and of course, instantly I was labeled a potential liability and persona non grata, and pretty much devoured by my own guys.
What's your actual claim? Now the MENA is that from the information you've gathered well, go ahead briefly into your story as far as what you discovered. I guess it's coming out of MENA, Arkansas.
Yeah, my story really begins in Southeast Asia. If I'm going to touch on that just briefly. Worked over there in Air Force Intelligence as a young intelligence officer. Worked in a highly classified operation that involved direct air support, material support to the CIA in Laos and Cambodia. And that put me in a position to meet some of the people that later surfaced in the Iran-Contra scandal. Those guys sort of track you through life, once you audition well in uniform, sort of puts you in a position to be recruited for later operations as a civilian, and that's what happened to me. I got out of the military after 8 years of honorable service, went into an industry that was full of KGB agents just by accident that forced me or caused me to be recruited by the FBI's counterintelligence division. That led to me being introduced to Oliver North and the CIA back when North was a major, and back when no one knew who he really was. That put me in an interesting position to be briefed about the Reagan administration's efforts to bypass Congress and support the Contras. I was told that all of this was going to be taking place in Mena, Arkansas. And being a former Vietnam veteran and a person who had assisted the Cambodians and Laotians in fighting their war, I was asked to become a flight instructor in this operation in Mena. So I did that, and that put me in a real interesting position to observe then Governor Bill Clinton interacting with elements of the CIA that were in Arkansas.
I want to just touch briefly on you're kind of onto this. I think some of your latest stuff you've been promoting is tied into this new world order.
Well, what concerns me in how the drug war is being used to undermine our Bill of Rights. And so as I lecture and talk about the connection between these acts, or the acts, the plan within the act is to get you, I feel, to give up elements of your rights as you demand more and more security, as we become more and more violent as a nation, as more and more drugs come into our culture, and as we decline industrially. My latest project is NAFTA, and you may think it's a hard connection to make, but I think it's very simple. If you look at our social decline, which is directly connected to our economic decline, you realize we're just bleeding profusely through free trade. Trade deficits now with China that rival Japan, and our high-tech jobs are leaving this country. And in the middle of that, you've got the war on drugs, turning this country into a police state.
It's kind of like the slave masters actually bring in the drugs, knowing that a certain amount of population will succumb to it, and then they turn around and create a little chaos and the destruction of the Bill of Rights.
Absolutely. Everything plays out into the hands of those who would like to turn America into a banana republic. I think there is a strategy as the world becomes one big socialistic global trading partner, a strategy to demote America's living standard and elevate the rest of the world at the same time. Multinational corporations are doing this. Ford Motor Company, their most automated engine factory in the world is in Chihuahua, Mexico. If you tour the Maquiladora zone between Mexico and Texas, as I have done, you'll be astounded to see not only the American corporations that are there with brand new facilities employing Mexicans, but then go look at the Asian competitors of those corporations who have likewise built new factories that take automation to another whole level. These are world-class facilities that employ robotics and lights-out technologies, it's called, mated with $2 or $4 a day labor, depending on whether you want skilled or unskilled people. American companies cannot compete against that. And so combining that with our open border policy in this trade policy, the flow of drugs has increased into the country. Yet, if you listen to the administration, the Clinton administration, what we needed, more police on the streets to chase the Americans around that are up here as drug users. Well, I see a little hypocrisy in this whole thing.
Terry, as we wind down, again, I thank you for this little interview with Jeff Davis program up here. Did you have any closing statements you'd like to make? This should air on Monday the 14th, parts of this anyway. So,
well, I mean, people are right now are, I think, at an all-time low as far as hope for the country, for the government. I mean, the whole Whitewater, fiasco, lack of prosecution, allegations that Kenneth Starr is part of the problem. I mean, I've heard it all this weekend. I just think it's important for people to not give up. That's what they want us to do. We have to find the right causes to get behind. There still is hope. We're not broke individually. We have a lot of debt, but so far the world is still clamoring for a piece of our market. What we have to do as Americans is identify what people want from us and start putting the price on their trading relationships with us. We have to quit buying foreign goods to punish our own corporations who are moving offshore. And it's all under our control. And we can do it as Americans if we just unite and quit fighting among ourselves.
As you, Terry, as somebody that's actually worked for the CIA and flown planes and whatnot, there is absolutely no doubt in your mind whatsoever from everything you've seen that this arm of the government called the CIA is bringing the drugs into this country.
Jeff, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I didn't investigate this story. I lived this story. I personally witnessed the drug activity. That's what caused me to divorce myself from the intelligence community. So this isn't an investigating journalist you're talking to, trying to connect the dots from the outside, looking inside. You're talking to a guy that was inside, witnessing it, and I know the players. Felix Rodriguez was right there at the helm of an operation under the control of George Bush. This may sound convoluted to people that don't want to accept it, but we haven't had a war on drugs. We paid for one, but we sort of got shortchanged in the process.
We've been talking to Terry Cook. He's the author of Compromised, Clinton, Bush, and the CIA, and he's also produced a couple of videos, at least here, The MENA Connection and Vanishing Jobs, America Under Siege. Once again, Terry Reed, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the program here.
Thanks for bringing me into your facilities here. This is quite a studio.